Hello, everyone. So Garrison and I are going to talk about Zendikar Rising spoilers. So we've got
Hello.
this Mythic spoiler page pulled up. Both of us do. Garrison's only on a Discord call because he's also recording this on, well, he's streaming it on Twitch.
Yup.
So we can't have the webcams on both of our Streamlabs, I guess, whatever. Anyways, we're going to go right in order, I think. So
Yeah,
first up, we got Tazri. How you want to do this? You want to read them? You want to just,
I don't much matter to me. I'm
why
gonna
don't you
be.
read it out loud?
I'm probably gonna be reading these mostly for the first time. By the way.
Yeah.
All right. So Tazri, Beacon of Unity. It's 4 generic 1 white legendary creature, human warrior. Spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party, and we're seeing the reemergence of the generic hybrid mana symbol, right?
I guess
With
so. I didn't think that would be the case, but
Yeah,
here
I
it
assumed
is.
with the spoiler, we're like the teaser said 4. I didn't think they would leave out a color, but they did.
Yep. I guess
So this is look at
technically it's still a 5 color general though.
yeah, and that's probably why,
Yep.
right? That's where you're at. So look at the top 6 cards of your library. Reveal up to 2 cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard, and/or ally cards from among them. Put them into your hand. The rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. It's a 4/6. So I guess there's a couple things going on with this card, right? So you have Party, which is new.
Yeah, so I guess we probably should have mentioned the new mechanic too, right?
Well, there's a lot of returning mechanics, a lot of new mechanics.
Yeah, so
Is
returning
it?
you have landfall and you have kicker.
Yep.
And then the new mechanic is party, which a party consists of a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. And each creature in play can only count toward, like, one single creature can only count towards one of those rolls. And
Is
there
it 4
are,
or is it 5?
it's four.
Okay.
Ally is just, I guess, something else with Tazri.
I didn't know if human was.
Oh, no. It's those
Okay.
four classes.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
because rogues are never humans and warriors are always dwarves, right?
Except that warrior is a human.
I was talking about D&D.
Oh, okay.
Which, spoiler alert, wait, maybe
Crossover, right?
there is a crossover with D&D next year, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, you've got so one single creature can only fill one of those roles, and I say that because further down, not very far down, there is a creature that has multiple different roles on him.
Right.
So,
It says it's the five types or something like that,
yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. So
And then what
at
was the
first,
other? There's the other fourth mechanic. Dual face cards. So it's
yeah,
not a card that so far we haven't seen any cards that actually flip or transform. It's when you play it, you choose which side you're playing. So
okay.
it's a different mechanic than we've seen in the past.
I wondered how that was going to actually work. Not going to lie, because I didn't get a chance to see.
You'll see
Um,
when we scroll down a little further, you'll see how they did it so that you can tell if you've got a dual face card.
okay, as I say, I didn't get a chance to see the stream, so I got a couple things to catch up on there.
Yep.
So I guess Tazri. What are your impressions of Tazri?
Um, it'll probably be a commander staple, and I I think until Kenrith rotates, you just play Kenrith in that slot, right?
In that 5 mana. I
Yeah,
mean, Kevin's a 5 mana 5/5 that does a lot. This just digs for
yeah.
2 creatures,
So
right?
this would be like obviously a creature heavy deck,
Yeah,
but I
it'd
mean
be
the
a
ability
party
is
theme deck.
powerful if you can use it.
Well, and I guess the thing to see about this is like it's going to be like it can be a 1 mana 4/6, correct?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the first line of text. Yeah, so it costs one less to cast for each creature in your party. So if you've got like the whole party thing is a win more ability in this case. Like if you've got four creatures in play and they're four different roles, you really need a 1 mana 4/6.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
But
win
yeah,
more.
it's a 1 mana 4/6 if that's the case. And there are other
Yeah,
cards, spoiler, there's more cards that are reduced like this.
I gotcha.
Or at
Pop.
least one more.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right,
pop tart
next.
rip people with half their deck or flip cards. It's gonna be a bad thing again.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's on Mythic Spoiler, but there's actually like a checklist type card where you can write in basically the top is the name of one side, the bottom is the name of the other side, and then there's a big text box for notes. And they actually said it's for notes. Like you can write down whatever you want in the
Oh,
box,
nice.
which is
That's good.
kind of dumb, but
Yeah. All right. So this was the next card's Jace Mirror Mage was spoiled last week, I believe it was,
yeah,
right?
that sounds right.
3 mana, Planeswalker, Jace. You can't miss that. It's got a kicker of 2. So when Jace Mirror Mage enters the battlefield, if Jace was kicked, create a token that's a copy of Jace Mirror Mage. Except it's not legendary, and its starting loyalty is 1. So this Jace starts at 4. You +1, you get to scry 2, or you can 0 to draw a card, reveal it, remove a number of loyalty counters. You let cards converted mana cost from Jace Mirror Mage.
So
All
this
right,
is going
so
to be very hard to evaluate.
yeah, the other thing that I think about is so when this Jace entered the battlefield and it is kicked, right? You have a second Jace that enters the battlefield.
Hmm.
When you use one Jace, they can just respond and kill the other Jace.
Yes. Actually, when it enters, if it's kicked, they can just respond and kill
Respond
the
to the
original.
right, because the
Because it's
yeah,
a triggered ability when it
it's a
enters the
triggered
battlefield.
ability,
Yep.
right?
Now it doesn't trigger if it's not kicked.
Right, You only have the one; it'll be treated as just a single
Yep.
planeswalker.
But if they kick it and it enters the battlefield and that kicked trigger goes on the stack to create a copy, you could eliminate the original Jason response.
Which I did see. There is so we already have eliminate in standard.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
well, that's
and I
down
did see
further.
I know I
It's
did see
down further.
something earlier, so we'll have to get to that. But when we get to that card, I do want to come back to this.
It doesn't matter, though, because that other card's a sorcery.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
I didn't see that part. I thought it was an
Yep.
instant.
But this is still a copy, so like it's still a 3 mana token essentially.
Yep. Okay.
So that's something that you have to remember too, is that because it's a copy of a permanent, it still has a converted mana cost.
It's like making a
Yep.
photocopy of it.
Yeah, it's like a pack rat token. They still had
Okay.
devotion to black from the tokens. So,
Gotcha.
so the other reason that this is hard to evaluate, obviously, because one, you can get 2 planeswalkers for 5 mana, and the token could just 0 and draw a 6-drop and die. Like that's totally fine, right? You paid
You're
two
okay with
mana to
that, I
draw a
think.
card at
Yeah.
that point. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have a way to protect itself aside from loyalty. So it starts on 4, and if you plus it, it's on 5. And if you
Right.
kick it, that one can start on 2 effectively. So you've got 7 loyalty for 5 mana, which that kind of protects itself.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, you're getting a use out of one of them more than likely, right?
Yeah.
And more. I guess
So
you're
let's
probably
say
getting
the
2.
worst case scenario, you pay 5 mana and you draw 2 cards, and both of them kill both Jaces. Like
That's fine. You've now
that's
drawn a 4-drop and at least a 1 or 2 drop.
right.
So you've replaced the 1 card with 2.
Yep.
I'm okay with that exchange.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
Drana, the
Drana.
last blood chief. Go ahead.
You want to read it?
No, you can go ahead.
I like this card. I saw this spoiled earlier. So 5 mana 4/4 legendary vampire cleric. Flying when drawn on the last blood chief attacks, if any player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard, you return that card to the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. It's a vampire in addition to its other types. Yes. I like that card.
It has to attack though.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Protect
I mean
the
the
crap
ability
out of
seems
it.
pretty
Like,
strong, right?
yeah. So that player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard and returns to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it.
It seems a little odd to me that they get to choose what you reanimate, but I guess whatever.
Well, I guess it would be. I could see if it deals combat damage, you choose
Yeah,
because
but this is an
you
attack trigger. It's not a damage trigger.
right. That's what I was saying, and like it's super easy to like attack and bounce something out of the way.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Um,
That's true.
and that's I guess that's why I'm thinking it's like that's the reason why your opponent is choosing what's in the graveyard that you're choosing, or that they're choosing. Yeah. But I like this card. It has evasion. Like 5 mana 4/4, 5 mana 4/4 flyer.
So it's Sarah
Isn't
Angel without
horrible.
vigilance, or I guess it's Sengir Vampire.
Singer Vampire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
That
guess 4 toughness isn't like enough to withstand anything, but it gets around a lot of the red removal being 4 instead of 3.
yeah, and like there's a red removal spell that deals 5 damage right now, but it's not seeing a ton of play.
Yeah, I mean that's because it costs more than 2 mana.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right, then
exactly.
next we've got Nahiri. So this was another one that was spoiled last week, I believe. You want to go through the abilities there?
Yeah. So +1, create a 1/1 white core creature token. You can attach equipment you control to it. Then -2, look at the top 6 cards of your library. Reveal a warrior equipment card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. And -3, Nahiri deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to twice the number of equipment you control.
So first thing, this is obviously the one of the hints that Mario gave us.
Yep.
The ultimate, the -3 there is the exact text that he spoiled, if you will.
Yeah, twice the number of equipment.
Yep.
Yep.
So on the
Um,
surface, you've got a 4 mana planeswalker that starts on 4, and so it doesn't really have like a huge ultimate, right?
no, just repeated removal.
Yeah. So you got a +1 that protects itself, and it attaches equipment, which is not irrelevant. If you're playing red, you probably have Embercleave, right?
Sure. Yep.
So like if you've got nothing on board and you draw a Nahiri, nothing but an Embercleave, I should say. You draw the Nahiri, you get a free equip basically.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then the -2 is I think really good because if you're playing a warrior or equipment deck it's a way to draw cards, which white and red kind of lack.
turns out it's a way to find Embercleave.
And it's a way to find Embercleave. Yes.
Yep.
And then the -3, it's not really a win con because it doesn't hit players. But you know,
No,
it is a
but
way for her to protect herself if you've got equipment already.
and I guess the other thing to be said is that so yeah, if you have one or two, so if you have one piece of equipment out, like if you have an Embercleave, it's a shock. If you have two pieces of equipment, which we don't know what the season's going to bring, right? The spoiler season's going to bring.
Yeah.
You could have some really cheap equipment here, so it could actually just be taking like the biggest creature out in order to get in extra damage with Embercleave
Yeah, and
and
we've
not
already got
risk
some decent
losing.
cheap equipment, right? Isn't there a 1 mana equipment that's just +1/+1? And
Yeah,
then
like the
there's
sword.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep. All right, so
Yeah.
moving to Nissa of Shadowed Bows. Bows?
Bows.
Bows.
Bows. Shadow
Bowser.
Bows. 4 mana, 4 loyalty planeswalker. Uh Landfall on a planeswalker. When a land enters battlefield under your control, put a loyalty counter on Nissa of Shadow Bows. Yes. Alright, already played.
There's no way to abuse this, right?
Right, none
No
whatsoever.
way.
+1 untap target land you control. You may have it become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste and menace until end of turn. It's still land.
Until end of turn. Yay.
Uh, the thing to note though is that it's you may have it become a 3/3.
Yeah, so you can just untap it.
Correct. Which so now you can actually abuse your like not that you can necessarily abuse a land now since shocks are rotating. Um, but you can potentially abuse the same land over and over again depending on what it is, right?
There's no utility lands like castles in standard, is there?
Yeah. No. Nope. None.
Hmm, weird.
So, and then -5, you may put a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield from your hand or graveyard with 2+1/+1 counters
So
on
worth
it.
noting is that let's say you play Nissa on 4. Uh,
Hmm.
I guess like if you played her on 5, let's say, or it could be on 4, but on 5, you would be able to play a land. Let's say it's a Fabled Passage. Crack the Fabled Passage. So there's 2 loyalty, and then you can already -5 and keep her around.
Right. And keep her at 1. Yeah.
Yep. And with any sort of mana ramp on, turn 1 or 2, you'd be able to play her on 3 and do that on 4.
Yeah. Well, there's also Field of Ruin in standard for a later game to get you an additional,
Yeah.
right? Because that one finds you an additional
Yeah. It's
basic
another
too.
landfall trigger there.
Yeah, so there's definitely ways to abuse Nissa, I think.
And
Um,
obviously ramp spells to,
oh, sure, yeah.
you know, cultivate or something.
Yeah, so cultivates the other one, gives you the additional land for 3. I'm sure there's going to be an additional, spell somewhere here.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to
All
get
right.
spoiled.
Now we're gonna
Uh,
start getting into the less exciting cards.
yeah.
So
Uh,
Legion Angel.
yeah. 4 mana, 4/3,
Yeah.
flying. When it enters the battlefield, reveal a card you own from named Legion Angel from outside the game. Put it in your hand.
So you get to pull one from your sideboard. So it's
So,
not a card that I really want to play in the main deck, and it's not a card I want to play in the sideboard.
well, do you like the problem is, do you play 3 in the main deck and 1 in the side? Do you play 2 in the main deck
No,
and 2 in the
I
side?
think you're overthinking it, and you just don't play this card.
Oh, gotcha. I think there's going to be an Angels Matter deck,
Probably.
and
I'm
that's
probably
why.
wrong about that, but it's just like
Yeah,
the stats aren't that good. It's got 3 toughness, literally dies to every burn spell.
yeah. I just think that
And like,
you don't print Baneslayer Angel by yourself.
sure. I just don't think that any deck, like, you can't have a 12 card sideboard, right? Just to have 3 of these angels be
Sure.
fetchable. Like that's a
Well,
huge cost.
you can't have 3 Angels be vegetable, right? You have to have it. I'm assuming it's 2.
Yeah. Even then a 13 card sideboard's pretty big.
Sure. Yeah.
And let's
That's
say you've got a companion in there or something too.
oh, that's extra slot, but companions are dead.
Yeah. Oops.
Yo Ryan allows you to have whatever you want though.
That's true. All right.
Um,
Confounding conundrum.
yeah. I don't know why this is blue. 2 mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. But then, whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, the player had another land enter the battlefield under their control this turn. They return a land they control to its owner's hand. What?
Whenever a land
Like,
enters under an opponent's control, if they already had
yeah,
one enter, they return a land. Uh Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So
So they
I
return
saw
one that they already
played.
tapped,
Yeah.
and it doesn't actually. I mean, I guess it doesn't slow them down, right?
No, you're still at parity,
Because they're still
but it doesn't
playing.
allow
They're
you to
playing an
ramp.
extra land, and if they have anything that has entered the battlefield effects, you're giving them an advantage.
Yeah. So like on my screen in the bottom right hand corner, you can see this little guy called Lotus Cobra.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
I know, and
Not
that's what
there
I'm
yet.
thinking. But that's the thing. So somebody made the comment of it's not going to kill Uro, right? Because Uro is the big baddie, letting you ramp super easy. It will just kind of slow things down. This literally just fits into a deck trying to outpace its opponent. Like I think this helps Simic more than it slows it down.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It really, if they're not ramping, it doesn't do anything but draw a card, and I'd rather have an actual draw card spell for that.
Yeah, I think this is a sideboard card. So for like the Simic mirror,
Yeah, I guess.
because if I'm ramping and you're ramping, the person who the person who out ramps generally wins, right? They land Dugan first, and then there's the game. You play Confounding Conundrum, and your opponent can't ramp. Um, odds are you're going to get to that point. That I don't know. I could see where that could come into play. I just think I don't think it's going to be main deck,
Oh, it definitely won't be
but
main deck.
I could potentially be wrong if things just get out of hand.
Who knows? I don't see it
Um,
even being a sideboard card. It's just too. I don't know. You only want it in one situation, really, and I think there's better ways to deal with ramp decks.
yeah, and I guess we're gonna have to wait till see what happens
Yeah,
and
and
what.
obviously new spoilers can change that opinion too.
Right, yeah, everything will change.
Yep. All
So
right,
next
next.
is coveted prize, right? 5 mana sorcery is 1 less to cast for each creature in your party, which is this is where it actually tells you, right?
Yeah, your
We're
party consists of up to one of each cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. And I
okay.
don't know if the rules text for party says it, but they did say it. Um, one creature cannot be two of those roles. So you can't have a full party with less than four creatures.
Right, but you can have a partial party, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
and
if you
then
have a cleric and a rogue, that costs 3 mana instead of 5.
okay.
And
All
it can
right.
cost as low as 1, obviously.
One clarification with that, like just to make sure it's not like you have to have a full party for this to even like take effect. That's something we didn't talk about earlier. So you search your library for a card, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. If you have a full party, you may cast a spell with converted mana cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its mana.
Yeah. So obviously, party decks are going to be like high number of creatures.
Yeah,
So this gives you it's obviously a tutor. And I think it's got enough upside that it'll probably see play in small numbers.
I can see that. It's a good tutor with a reduced cost.
Yep.
Uh, Pop Tart asks, so you can kind of still ramp with the previous, like using it against the previous card. You tap the bounced land of your choice in response.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
or like you also just return one that's already been tapped for the turn,
Yeah.
or like if you play a forest and that's the one you're going to return, you can tap it and float the mana and still use it. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's like slowing them down. Like instead of a one land slowdown, it's like half a land slowdown.
Yeah, you get the ability, right, to tap it for mana that turn. You
Yeah,
just don't start the
unless it
turn with additional
comes into
land.
play tapped, of course. But
Right.
there's not many lands that do. And like, actually, let me reread it.
Actually, so that's
No, okay, I was thinking with Fabled Passage, but they have to like, yeah, you can't crack a Fabled Passage and say that was the one you're going to return. It's not worded that way.
oh yeah.
Like if it
There
said return
are
target land.
now after coveted prize though, I could see conundrum with the next card.
Sure.
And so I guess that could be implications to
Are we going to read the card?
well, yeah, are you good with coveted prize? Like I don't
Oh, I'm
know
well
that
past it.
it's
Yeah.
okay. All right. So Valakut Awakening, Valakut's card that I've always loved, so it's kind of nice to see it there, although I wish that it was just a land that dealt damage. Um 3 mana instant, put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw them any cards plus one.
And I will point out, look at the bottom of this card.
Yeah, and that's what so
Land.
that's the opposite side of it, right?
Yeah. So if you'll notice, I don't think they actually talked about this on stream today, but there's one triangle in this corner. I believe this is the front side of the card.
Okay.
And on the back side, it is a land that enters tapped and taps for red. And that's going to be down below further. And
Okay.
I
Well,
believe
and
that
that's
there are
I
two
actually
triangles on
clicked
that side.
I clicked on the picture to open up both side by side.
Mm, yep.
So you see, okay, so and then the opposite side enters battlefield tapped. So if that's your land, while we're on this right now, right? If that's your land, it's on the land side of it. Use if they make you bounce into a conundrum, you can bounce that back, and you have
You have a spell
the
now.
you have a spell now.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So there could be really bad things if your opponent for your
Yeah.
opponent if
And
they're playing
we'll have to wait for
conundrum.
the rules text. I believe that when these dual face cards are in any zone but the stack or in play, that they are the front side of the card. So I don't believe if it was like
So
search
you
your
can
library
dress
for
away
a
Valakut,
land and put it into your hand, I don't think you could grab Valakut Awakening because it's a land on the backside.
but Valakut Awakening can be dressed
Right.
because the front side is
Yeah.
a
And
non-land card.
we have to wait for the actual rules text because they can always change and make things
Sure,
specific to the card.
sure.
But that should be how it works. So next,
Okay.
I actually really like this next card. So it's Tajuru Paragon. It's 2 mana for a 3/2 elf, but the text box says it's also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard.
So
And it
it's
has
five types, right?
yeah, and it has kicker 3. And when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, reveal the top 6 cards of your library, and you may put a card that shares a creature type with it from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So because it's a characteristic defining ability, I do believe that this is all 5 types in every zone. But again,
Okay.
we'll have to look at the release notes to know for sure.
Okay, so now the question comes: this creature does not define a party,
No,
right?
this can be any role in the party, any class in the party, if you will, but it's not a full party by itself.
Okay,
But I do
gotcha.
like it because it is a little versatile and it's a 2 mana 3/2, so it's not a bad body on its own.
No, it's a 2 mana 3/2 or
A 5 mana 3/2 that potentially gets you another card.
right. It shares a creature type with it.
Yep. Which
It's
if
assumed
you're
you're
playing it,
actually
you're
playing
gonna
a
have
party
every
deck.
creature in
Yeah,
your deck is gonna have that creature type. Limited would be
yeah,
the only instance where it might fail to find, assuming it, doesn't see a creature, because it can always fail that way.
right. Which seems like a lot of creatures are going to have one of the two types.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pop Tart's definitely a playset of this in most party decks.
Yeah, for sure. Unless you're not
Yeah,
playing green.
sure. Cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard are
So
going to be
they
the
did mention on
colors other than
stream
green.
that green is the color with the least amount of party party classes, I guess.
Well, I'm assuming cleric is white.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wizard blue, warrior red.
wizard blue, yeah, and rogue black.
Yep.
Yep. So
All
that
right,
so
so
that makes
let's
sense.
move on. Keep the pace going. So here we
Yeah,
have a 3/1 for 2 mana. We've seen this 100,000 times before.
yeah. It's just a 3/1 for 2.
Yeah.
Meh.
Yep.
Next is what a 2/2 for 3. Windrider Wizard. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So you loot. If you cast an instant or sorcery
Yeah.
or wizard,
So this will
you can
be
loot.
fine in limited. It's a 2/2 flyer, like has evasion,
Yeah,
and it lets you
and
loot. I don't think it'll see play in standard though.
I don't mind it, but it's not like amazing.
Yeah. So next we have another one of the land spells. I, yeah, I
Okay.
can't believe I said that. Land spells. Spell lands? I guess it's spell land, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
So I don't really care for either side of this card, honestly. So like you've got 3 mana, sorcery, target opponent reveals their hand, you choose a card with CMC 3 or greater, and they discard it. And then enters the battlefield tapped land on the other side. Like I feel like we have 3 mana discard spells that don't have a clause on them.
Yeah. There's definitely I don't know. Again, I feel like you could abuse it with the like land ability, right? Hide a spell away. Get it back later when you know they have Eugene in hand and
Yeah, I mean there's always going to be corner cases where it's good, but like is it main deckable when you've got mono red or mono white?
yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
and the
can
lands the
easily
lands
miss with
tap.
this card. And like so I guess the other thing is when it's in your early opening hand early in the game, you
Yeah.
play it as a tap land, right? Because you need a mana source.
Right.
Later in the game, it's a discard spell, and that's when discard spells are the worst.
Right.
So like I guess in some middle of the game scenarios it could be useful, but man, I just feel like if you're playing it, then there's better discard spells. But it's
Yeah.
also very hard to evaluate because we've never had a card that can be a land or a spell.
Yeah, you can effectively take your like if you're having a really hard time hitting land drops,
Hmm.
this
Well,
can
yeah. So
guarantee
like,
it.
do you have a 26 land control deck that has 4 of these in it? Now you have, what do you call it, 28 lands on average, something
Sure,
like that.
right? Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to evaluate, but I don't like either side of it. But maybe the two sides combined are decent.
Could be. Never know.
All right, next card, Grotag Bug Catcher. 2 mana, 1/2 with trample. When it attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each creature in your party. So I will point out, it is a warrior, therefore it's always going to attack as at least a 2/2.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a 2/2, right? Okay.
Yep. And it could be up to what, a 5/2 for 2?
That's not bad.
No, this is not a bad limited card at all. And
No.
depending on how your mono red deck looks, if you've got 2 or 3 other classes that you can fit into the deck, um, even a 4/2 for 2 is pretty darn good.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing that so yeah, a 4/2 for 2 with trample. Trample being the big thing here, right?
Hmm.
Just ensuring that you're getting damage across. And it's a common too. So I mean, so there's not a whole lot to be expected from that.
No, I think it's a really good common, and I think it's
Yeah.
definitely, if you're playing an aggressive deck in limited, it's a very good inclusion.
Oh,
And like you could easily go 1-drop, I don't know, cleric rogue or something, 2-drop this dude, 3-drop another party member, and attack, and you're already attacking for 4.
right.
All right, Garrison's favorite card from the other
So
Zendikar.
yeah, not necessarily my favorite card, but one of my favorite cards. Lotus Cobra. Yeah, 2 mana, 2/1 snack.
Snack.
Landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under control, add 1 mana of any color.
There's no way to abuse this, right?
There's an abundance of ways to abuse this.
So turn 2, Lotus Cobra. Turn 3, land, cultivate, 2 landfall triggers. You're at 5 mana, right?
Well, no. Cultivate, you're at 3. Or
Oh,
you're
but
at
you
2.
play your land for 1, you tap all 3, and then you cultivate, and gives you another 1.
Yeah, so you're only at 2.
You're at 2
You're at 2.
extra. You're at 5 mana on turn 3.
Well, sure, yeah. You play
Yeah.
Cultivate, and then you play a 2 mana
Yeah.
spell. Yeah.
And then on turn
Yeah.
4, you play Fabled Passage and crack it.
It gets really dumb.
Yeah. Turn 4, you
really
have
dumb.
6 mana. There's nothing good to play on 6, right?
Turns out currently there's nothing. But when you get to 7, we're gonna reprint Avengers Zendikar and then lights out.
Yeah, and the alternate art for Cobra is pretty darn cool. So.
And it's funny you just said that because Pop Tart literally just said
just read the comment,
Cobra
yeah.
has some sick alternate art. Yes.
Yeah.
I did see that, and I real quickly when I saw that Lotus Cobra got spoiled, I went to see what the current cost of Lotus Cobras are, and OG Lotus Cobras are like 17 or $18.
They haven't changed, have they?
No, they've been like right along the same price that they've been for 7 years or something like that. And new Lotus Cobra is pre-selling for 5. GP promos are sold out everywhere, and they're like $35 a piece.
It's not surprising.
But I feel like the GP promo may have gone up a little bit just recently, because I don't think it was quite that much. And then I couldn't find anybody pre-selling alternate art.
Yeah, no one's gonna pre-sell that. Like, it's so hard to know how
Yeah,
many of those you're gonna get when you're opening 100 cases or whatever.
right.
Singles, so.
But I like this. I like the art. I think this art's pretty good. I like the original art a lot. But I think they did good, and I think this is a good set for Lotus Cobra to be in. You have 1 fetch, with
So far.
Fabled Passage. Correct. So you have one fetch so far in Fabled Passage. You have 1 utility land in like Field of Ruin to add additionals if need be. The ramp isn't like ridiculously
let's
good.
talk about Uro on 3 now, right? Cobra on 2, land, Uro, land. You've got 3 unspent mana there, right?
Yes. That is correct.
Or is it 2?
That is no. So you play
a land for the
on
turn.
3. So you have 2 available.
Yeah.
And you have 4 available, right? Because you have 1 floating with Cobra.
I think it gets you to 5 mana total. I think you have 2 left over.
And no, you'll have 3 left over. Because you play your land for the turn.
Mm-hmm.
That puts 1 in your pool and 3 to tap.
Mm-hmm.
So it puts you at 4. You tap 3, go down to 1. You play Uro, put a land from your hand into play that puts another 1 in your pool, and assuming it's untapped.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was forgetting about untapped.
3.
Yep. So 3.
Yep.
So you can play 2 Uros on turn 3 now. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Totally
fine.
fine.
Yeah, Pop Tart. We're gonna definitely we're gonna talk we're gonna get to the 4-color Omnath here. And yeah, I'm like
Yeah, we're just going through this really slowly because Garrison
yeah,
talks a lot.
I do. I also have a lot of time to kill. um,
All right,
but
next card. Next
yeah.
card. Kabira Outrider. 4 mana, 3/3. When it enters, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature in your party. So this is just a strict upgrade from the generic one that does this in every other set, right? Every other set has
Oh
something
yeah,
that pumps it for a turn, but this one can
yeah,
pump it for up to +4/+4.
yeah. So it's a minimum getting +1, right?
Yep, because it is a warrior. Whoops.
Yep.
I keep scrolling because I always want to scroll down,
Oh,
and my webcam is covering it up.
yeah, in the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, next card. I actually really like this card here. So 1 blue, 1/1 flying. It's a Merfolk Rogue, relevant. And when when it deals combat damage to a player, that player mills a card, and then you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Doesn't tap, so you can do that immediately if you want to, and you can only activate that ability if opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. So the reason why I like this, say if I'm playing like a mono blue aggro deck, I play this on 1, and their first turn they play a temple.
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna do? Scry it to the
Well,
top and get it milled. Scry it to
yep.
the bottom. Like, it makes it so awkward to play the temple on turn 1.
Yeah, or you just don't even worry about it. You play the temple because it's gonna probably get milled anyway.
Sure. Um,
Like
so
that's
yeah,
just
and then
relevant
obviously
now.
like late game, if you draw this, you can just play it and draw a card for 1 blue, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems okay. Like it seems good in limited. It seems really good.
I think it could get played in a rogue deck.
Yeah, I can see that.
And why don't we read that? Why don't you read the next card?
I was to say the next one is actually a rogue as well, right?
Yep.
Acquisitions expert, 2 mana, 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals a number of cards from their hand equal to the number of creatures in your party. You choose one of those cards. That player discards that card.
So they're
So
probably always gonna reveal the worst of the 4 up to 4 cards in their hand, right?
right, well,
But this is not like a Kite Sail Freebooter where it exiles it until this leaves play. This just makes them discard it. And
well,
there's
right. But the
also
other thing is, it could be up to 4, right?
they can reveal up to 4 and then you choose one. Yes.
Yeah. So like it on 2, it'll be a 2 mana 1/2 that more than likely makes your opponent reveal a card and
Yeah.
discard it. But later in the game, if
It
they
might
have
be if they have 2 or 3 cards in hand, you might see their whole hand.
right, and then you pick the best card out of it.
And there's also another card down below that we'll get to that
Okay.
synergizes with this a little bit.
Okay.
And yes, it can discard any card type. There's not like a non-creature clause on it or anything like that. So
Yeah. So okay. So that and then that makes it a lot better than say
then,
something like Kite Sail Freebooter.
yeah. All right, next card we've got Spitfire Lagak. 3/4 for 4. Landfall when it landfall it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Cool.
Three, 4 for 4, and it doesn't add to a party.
Nope. So,
Okay, so there's a 1/1 for 1 green Taju Blight Blade with Death Touch,
and it's a rogue.
and it's a rogue, so it's a party member, right?
Yep.
I mean, prior to this, what have we seen? It's generally been a 1/1 for 1 that's been a black creature with Death Touch, right?
Yeah. So we get it in green this time. It is 1/1s with death touch are super annoying. Like they
Yep,
can stop anything from attacking. So I think
they're great stop signs.
it may not play like it may not see play in like constructed, but it will definitely be a limited take.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's okay, and you tend to play 1/1s for 1,
Hmm.
especially that have text on them
Yeah.
in limited.
All right. Next up, we've got Shepherd of Heroes, 5 mana, 3/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each creature in your party. So in limited, it's probably okay, but in constructed, I think you just play Baneslayer on 5.
Yeah, I I mean, this is like a 5-mana 3/4 that gains 2.
Yeah. Or
Uh,
maybe 8. But again, like even if you're gaining 8, it's not that good.
yeah, I don't think I wanted the repeated gain 5. I feel that's way better.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Next up, we've got a strict upgrade from Hedron Crab.
is it a strict upgrade though?
Well, Hedron Crab was 2 cards, right?
No, it's the exact same as Hedron Crab. You just can't target yourself.
Oh,
It's
but it's
it's it
each
is
opponent.
a it's a downgrade unless you're so okay, I guess personal opinion, it's a downgrade from Hedron Crab. Because Hedron Crab you could target yourself. But it's only one target. Ruin Crab, it's each opponent, I guess.
Yeah, so relevant in multiplayer formats.
Yeah, probably not as relevant in constructed.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike. The other person talking is Matt. We're both recording here. Sorry you can't see him because he is recording for YouTube on Liberty's channel as well.
All right, next
Uh,
card, Blood Chief's Thirst. This is the one that you were super excited about earlier, and
yes,
then I told you it's a sorcery.
yes, I was
So,
extremely excited about it.
so it's a single
Uh,
black, and it destroys target creature or planeswalker with CMC 2 or less. So like, why? I guess because of the kicker, but like, destroy
mhm.
target creature or Tybalt, right?
Yeah,
But if it
yup,
was kicked, you can destroy any creature or planeswalker. So
yeah,
best case scenario, it's a 4-mana sorcery speed hero's downfall, which is a 3-mana instant. Like this card doesn't excite me.
yeah. I thought it
Oh
was an
yes, it does
instant.
hit Ren in 6. Good point.
Oh, okay,
Emblem
yup,
said that in chat.
yeah. I thought it was an instant, which is what I got really excited for. Because at that point, it is like it's fatal push, right?
Oh, and technically you can hit green blue Nissa because that's green blue X, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
All right, so there's more
yep.
targets than I thought.
Now, yeah, already named 2.
3,
Um,
Tybalt.
no, more than you thought. I
Oh
meant
yeah.
like already named 2 more than you thought.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I still think this is a good card. I still think this
Yeah,
is
it's a fine
fine.
card. I don't think it's like amazing. If it was an instant, I'd be sold on it.
Yeah. I guess what I was thinking, I thought it was an instant, and I was like, oh my gosh, Fatal Push just got like this amazing upgrade, right?
Yeah.
Because Fatal Push was heralded as like the best black removal spell Standard had seen at the time.
Yeah.
And this, I guess we still have a lot of spoilers left, right? So this could end up being like the actual premium removal spell.
Yeah, and like on the play this isn't that great because the tempo is ruined. Like I play a swamp,
Right.
they play a creature, I can't kill it till my turn. But on the draw it's better because they play a 1-drop and then you can use this on your first turn.
Yeah.
So like I guess it depends on how the other removal looks like in the set or what the other removal looks like.
I think having this paired with like Eliminate and what's the other one that I've been playing and haven't really cared for a lot?
Heartless Act
Correct. Which might get better,
might.
but
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's a good suite of removal. And
Yeah.
then you have like E2 Extinction as your actual 4-drop if you need to exile something. Where the thirst could be either or, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose
Okay.
just have to see what comes out.
Next card we've got Tajuru's Snarecaster. 3-mana 1/4 with reach, so very boring creature.
It's a rogue.
It is a rogue, and it does block a lot of white blue flyers, so it's
Yep.
got that going for it in limited.
Yeah, it's not horrible. And limited.
Right. All right. Next, this is like the funniest card. Everyone was just like trash talking and trolling Watsy about this card in the stream. So
Okay.
Farsight Adept, 3 mana for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, this is the one card from Morrow's thing. You and target opponent each draw a card.
What?
When it enters, you and each opponent. Oh, you and target opponent, sorry. Draw a card. So
Oh,
you give your opponent a card in exchange for
a
a 3/3
3-mana
and a card.
3/3
Yeah.
that doesn't have flying.
Yep.
No thanks. I'm good.
Yep.
I'm golden. Emblem
Next.
says group hug. Yeah, it fits in a group hug deck, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Expedition Diviner. 4 mana, 3/2 flying. It's a merfolk wizard. See, I called merfolk yesterday.
Fish. Yup.
Fish. As long as you control another wizard, this creature has, when this creature dies, draw a card. I think it's okay in limited, and I don't think it'll see play beyond that.
Yeah, 3/2 flyer for 4. This is okay. It's not horrible.
Next up, Might of Marasa. 2 mana giant growth, or 5 mana, what's a 5/5 pump spell?
I don't even know.
Like, this is just not good costed. Not well costed, sorry.
Not well costed.
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening? We're going through some spoilers. We got Matt on the Discord too.
Hi, Brandon. All right, next card. I actually think this is a really solid card too. So it's a 1 mana 1/1 with flash, and it's a rogue. And when it enters,
Okay.
up to 1 target creature gets -2/-0 and mills 2 cards. Oh, and its controller
Oh.
mills 2 cards.
Okay, so you can actually pair this with the other. What's the fairy? Isn't there a fairy that when it enters battlefield, target creature gets -2/-0?
Yeah, so I was gonna say the other iterations of this, we've got a 1/2 for 2 that does the same thing, and that has flying.
Yeah.
And then we've got a 3 mana 1/4 that's minus
That
X,
sounds right.
where X is the devotion to blue. But
Yeah.
this is a 1 mana 1/1 with flash. I think the others have flash too, of course. So it
Yeah.
fits into the flash deck, and it mills 2, which isn't irrelevant.
I think it also pairs. So this pairs really well with things. So you have the black rogue, that like draws cards or something when it enters battlefield, something dies. You can actually make like a rogues, like the actual blue black rogue deck. This slots really well into that, giving you
Well,
a way
it's
to
gonna be
actually like.
it's probably gonna be a Grixis rogue deck, but maybe Demir.
Yeah, Grixis.
Yeah, maybe.
Why is that?
Just maybe.
Just maybe.
Just maybe. But I
I
like this
thought-
because a lot of there was a time period of time where people were playing the flash -1 or the 1/2 that gives -2 as a
Uh-huh.
sideboard card against mono red, and this is like cheaper, right? So
Sure.
like it can block a 2/1 and kill it all day long.
Thing I like about this is that if you have duelist, you can actually flash this in. What is the 1/1 with first strike that pumps the other 1/1?
Oh, yep,
The red creature. I can't.
yep.
Everybody knows what I'm thinking about. Like you can give another.
It's the creature that I just hit the concede button to because I don't feel like dealing with it.
Yeah. So generally they'll like play the second one, right? And then they'll pump one or they'll pump two or whatever it
And
be.
yeah, worth noting that you can target himself and then mill yourself 2 cards if there's a reason to do so.
Sure. Because mill matters.
Yep.
Self mill matters.
Yep. All right, so the next card we got, Gnarlid Colony, 2 mana 2/2. If it was kicked for an additional 3 mana, it comes with 2 more counters on it, and it has a static ability. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. So if you kick it, it gives it self trample.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's
Haven't
a well
seen many
costed.
haven't seen many counters cards yet, have we?
No, I don't think it's very well costed either. 5 mana for a 4/4 with trample.
Yeah, and unless there's something else that actually um like really is the counters matters deck,
Yeah,
then you're probably not seeing a whole lot of this.
and you might play it limited too.
Nissa, well then, okay, so Emma said Nissa lands deck maybe, except that the old Nissa is rotating.
Yeah, so the
right?
new one just turns them into 3/3s until end of turn. It doesn't give them counters. So
Yep. So you don't have to worry about that, but
all right, next cards. Shell Shield. Instant for 1 blue, kicker for 1 generic. Target creature you control gets +0/+3 until end of turn. And if the spell is kicked, that creature also gains hexproof.
okay, so this is just a downgrade from
Every other iteration of this spell.
yeah, what's the annoying card that just went out? I shouldn't say just went out. It probably went out last year. One
I mean,
blue.
there's Starlit Mantle, but that's an enchantment.
No, what was the one blue? Played in tempo. Target creature gets
I don't remember.
+0/+3 and hexproof until end of
Yeah,
turn.
it's a strict downgrade either way.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
All
I
right.
guess the
Now
first
we're
one
gonna
here
get
is
to.
Omnath.
Yeah, this is what everybody is like
Oh,
excited
dive
about,
down.
right?
That's it. Yep.
Dive down. There you
Emblem
go.
said
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yeah. So yesterday we were talking on stream, right? The picture, because we were trying to figure out like what is Omnath, because they were talking 4 colors, right?
Yeah, they're talking that. Oh no, because we were thinking that the 4 mana symbol
The
thingy
symbols,
was
yeah,
gonna be a card with 4, like
different
this card,
color
4
mana
different
symbols,
color
yeah,
mana, and there's only 2 of each of those in the game.
right. And so then it was brought up that like
Omnath
Omnath
is 4
was.
colors.
Well, it was brought up. Omnath was on one of the boosters, right?
Yep.
The collector's booster picture, and I didn't know it, but you guys had said there's a mono green Omnath, right?
Yeah, and then there's a Gruul Omnath.
Yep, and then there's a
a
Teamer Omnath. So it only made sense that it was 4
the
colors.
next iteration, he gains a color of magic each time.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out what color was that. It was funny because it was like black made some sense.
Yeah, so there was one of the
color.
Mario spoilers was that there was a way to reanimate things without paying
Yeah.
for it. So we were thinking
And,
something with Omnath being landfall, and then he would be black.
yeah,
But in this instance, he's white.
Well, it was funny because I saw the picture and I was like, I don't see any like black coloring to him, and there was like yellow, which could kind of be white.
Yeah. So once we saw the artwork, we concluded it would be white.
Yeah, but it's like it also at the same time was like, what do you do? You gain life?
Turns out you do.
Turns out you do, yeah.
Yep.
This card seems dumb to me. Not even gonna lie.
Dumb as in bad or dumb as in really good?
No, dumb isn't really good.
Okay. So it's what do you call this? Like Teamer white? Because like his original 3 colors were Teamer.
It's literally just 4 color good stuff.
Yeah, so Teamer white for a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Yep.
Landfall. Gain 4 life if this is the first time this ability has resolved. If it's the second time, add Teamer white to your mana pool. If it's the third time, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. So it's an asymmetrical Storm's Wrath, right?
Yeah.
And
it's not that hard to hit 3 lands in a turn.
No, not with Uro and Fabled Passage and ramp spells and.
Correct. So Ozzy made a good point. At least we don't have Growth Spiral with it.
Uh-huh. I mean, the mana base for that would just be horrible, but yeah.
The mana base for that really wouldn't be that bad, right?
But maybe we'll see like Explore or what was the Farseek? Yeah, maybe we'll see Farseek.
Yeah. No, don't put Farseek in standard now. We needed Farseek before.
Yeah, when we had Shocklands.
We had Shocks, yeah. So I think all in all, Omnath, great.
Yeah, it looks like a good card.
Great.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely hard to build a mana base for it, but yes.
Correct, because we are losing some duels. Yep. But we'll get to the lands in a little bit. There's an easier way to fix that. Right?
With the Lantern leaves too.
We have the flip lands, right?
Sure, but they don't. Yeah, I mean they're not that great.
I think it's just an easier way for you to consistently hit something if you're playing Omnath. If you're on one track to play an Omnath, it's an easier way to do it. So what's the next one?
Linvala, Shield of Seagate.
I haven't seen this yet.
So it's a 3 mana, 3/3, Azorius +1, Legendary Angel Wizard, flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, choose target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Until your next turn, it can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. And you can sacrifice Linvala, which is kind of weird. They just say sacrifice Linvala, not her whole name.
Yeah.
Choose Hexproof or Indestructible. Creatures you control gain that ability until end of turn.
Interesting.
So, a party... Yeah, it's a party planner.
It's a Linvala the party planner.
Yeah.
There you go. You gotta wait, Haywire. We'll get to lands in a little bit. We're going in order here.
I think she's fine in a party deck, obviously. Giving something what's the card that does that? Can't think of names.
Choose target permanent opponent controls to your next turn. It can't attack or block. That really can't be.
Puts
I
him in
mean,
jail.
that's
Like
yeah.
there's plenty of white
That's.
enchantments that do that.
I was gonna say there's like probably too many to actually name, right?
Yeah. All right, next
Ooh.
card.
All right. Yeah. What's that? Aura. Skyclave Aerophant. 4 mana 3/3. So this is Zorius +2 for legendary creature core cleric. Lifelink. When Aura or another cleric you control dies, return target cleric card with lesser converted mana cost from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if Aura dies, bring back 3 or less, right?
Yep.
A cleric with 3 or less.
Yep.
Okay.
Seems okay.
Yeah. Now,
not great. I mean, obviously, if you're playing it, you're gonna have a bunch of clerics in your deck.
yeah. And this one in particular, right? Because it's not a party. This isn't a party card. This is just a Cleric's Matter card.
Yep. But it is a party member.
It is a party member. But I just don't know. I don't know how many clerics. Obviously, we don't have a full spoiler. We're on day 1, right?
Yep.
But I guess there could be a lot of clerics that actually make this work. And I have to go look. What's the Orzhov Aristocrat?
Rotates, doesn't it?
I don't know. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I assume
if it's Orzhov, it rotates, but.
Gotcha.
All right, let's move on to the next card, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, I saw this too.
Why don't you read this one?
Zareth San, the Trickster. 5 mana 4/4 legendary merfolk rogue. Flash. Okay, I'm just gonna say this thing has new ninjutsu, right? Or like whatever other creature it is has
because it's a rogue.
Sure.
It has rogue jitsu.
Rogue jitsu. 4 mana. So Dimir +2. Return an unblocked attacking rogue you control to its owner's hand. Put Zareth the Trickster from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may put target permanent card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Holy crap.
So this is the card that Maro spoiled. That was the one that can keep reanimating things for no cost.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have evasion, which kind of sucks, but in the Dimir Flash deck, for example, you have a whole bunch of things that have evasion. You got 1/1 flyers, you got...
Yo, give this thing double strike.
Yeah. Give it an Embercleave. Make it Grixis rogues. What?
Why not? Why not? Now I see why. Yeah, Embercleave, Grixis rogues. You got it. All right. Bring all the removal.
So I wish they would just bring back ninjutsu because I didn't get to play during Kamigawa.
Yeah.
And I just like ninjas, so. Next card, Cleric of Life's Bond. 2 mana, so it's Orzhov 2/2. Whenever another cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on cleric.
Okay. I'm glad that it's only 1 time.
Yeah, that's a nice addition, so it doesn't get out of hand.
Right.
And obviously this is... Well, it is a vampire and a cleric, so it could be relevant in Innistrad when we go back. And obviously it could be in a cleric deck too.
Yeah. I mean, it would work. It works okay with what is it? Or there's no drain life.
No.
Which is what I'd like to see on.
Yeah, I guess it should be a drain life because it is a vampire, and there is the clause where if it's. Oh, okay. It's only when you put the counter on if it's the first time each turn. So.
Yeah. You can gain life as many times as you want.
Yeah.
But you get a counter 1 time.
Yeah.
Each turn though.
Yep.
So that could be relevant, right? Maybe somewhere.
Oh, they definitely put a restriction on how fast it grows. So.
Yeah, I do like that. I do definitely like that effect.
All right. Next we have Marasa Root Grazer. So it's a Celestia 2-drop, 2/3 Vigilance, and you can tap it to put a basic land from your hand onto the battlefield, or you can tap it to return a basic land you control to its owner's hand. So I actually do kind of like this. Because it has vigilance, you can still attack and ramp with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I mean, as a 2/3, it's not like super exciting.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like the card.
Pop Tart said that Grixis Rogues is insane because you also have Robber of the
Robber the
Rich.
Rich.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Robber the Rich would be good. I keep forgetting that it's a rogue.
Yeah, and then Brazen Borrower is a rogue too, right? So
Yep.
that has
Yep.
evasion too. All
Yeah,
right,
so many
so
good things to do there.
yeah. Next
Ugh.
card. This card's pretty cool in my opinion. I don't know that it'll see much play, but if you're playing a party deck, it's not bad.
Okay.
So Spoils of Adventure, it's a 6 mana spell, so it's 4 generic plus Azorius. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party, and you gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. So
I
it
mean, if
costs
you're
you as
playing a
low as
party
2.
deck, if it literally it is healing solve and recall, right?
Yeah, so like most draw 3 cards are 3 mana, or draw 2 cards are 3 mana, right?
Yep.
And most
Yep.
draw 3 cards are what, 5?
Something like
So
that.
you're potentially getting a discount, so it's kind of like just an upgrade, really.
Yeah, I don't. I like the fact that it's you draw it late game at 6 mana, right? And you're okay. You're probably okay with draw 3 and gain 3 later in the game, just to try to fill your
Even
hand
if it's
back
a
up.
6 drop, I'm okay with the effect.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind this card at all. I really don't.
All right, we're at the lands now.
Oh, Haywire is going to be so happy with some of these lands, but not the lands that he wants to see. Not yet. Okay.
So this first cycle here is the dual land cycle. And we've got a mix of enemy and ally lands.
Okay. Did they say if there are all 10,
There are not. There are 6.
that's it?
Yeah, there are 6. And the reason they kind of fumbled through an explanation about how green didn't have as many party cards or something, and they wanted to balance it out with the lands. I don't know. He didn't really sound like he had much of an explanation. So this is what we got. It's a mix of ally and enemy lands.
Yeah. So there's 2 green lands, right? There's green white and green red.
Yeah.
There is 2 blue lands. Blue black, blue red. There is 3 white, white black, white green, white red. And there are 2 black, which is black white, black blue, and 1, 2, 3 red lands.
Yeah,
Red
so their
blue, red
explanation
white,
really didn't
red
make
green.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. It seems a little odd there.
So how these work is, I guess I have to click on it here, huh?
To see the lands.
Yeah, so on one side you've got one triangle in the corner, and the other side you've got 2 triangles in the corner. So in the River Glide pathway is the front of the card, and the Lava Glide pathway is the reverse of the card. And you'll notice
Yeah.
the box at the bottom that shows you what the other side does, which is kind of nice because you have the spell cards that are lands on the back.
Right.
And I will assume that if you, let's say you play the Lava Glide pathway and you pull the card out and you put it back in the sleeve with the back side up, I assume that drawing it that way later, if you forget to change it, is fine because you get to choose this side anyways. But with the other cards, it's probably not fine because of
Right.
hand disruption. So it'll be interesting to see what the judge rulings are on these cards.
Interesting.
I can't foresee there being a penalty for forgetting to flip them back over in the sleeve, but
Not the way that you used to see with like dual face cards that had interactions that go back and forth, right?
yeah. So
And things have changed since then.
yeah,
Too,
penalties have
correct?
changed since then too. So we'll see.
Also, the CMC of the card,
Is
the
the front
discussion
side?
is the front side, no matter what it is,
Well,
right?
no. Wait, did they change that again?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah, I
it.
believe it's now. Yeah, so if you have a Huntmaster of the Fells, I believe when it's flipped over to Ravager of the Fells,
Correct.
it's
It's still
still
4.
yeah, it's still a 4 drop. Yeah,
Yep.
they did change
Yep.
that.
Because there's because on the backside, it would have been originally it was 0.
Yeah.
So it was
Same
easy
with
to
the flip
remove.
Jace.
Right.
Yeah. So
Um
in conclusion, always make sure that you change them back to the correct front facing side.
yeah, you don't ever want to get in the habit of not doing that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then I guess if we
Uh
scroll further down, there's expeditions. Who would have thought that Zendikar would have expeditions?
all right, so these are the lands that don't actually count as being in the set.
Yeah, so I've been saying it for months that there's going to be fetch lands in Zendikar, and nobody believed me, but here they are in Zendikar packs.
Yeah, I don't think it's
So the nice thing that they did do is these are box toppers, so it's not some random chance of getting an expedition like it was before. So every draft and set booster box will have a non-foil expedition box topper,
they
and
so each one gets one, right?
correct. And then the
Is it
collector booster box, I believe, has 2 foil expeditions as the topper.
okay. So all right, I guess we're gonna rewind. They're not in a pack in the box.
Correct.
You can't get them in a pack in the box.
In the collector box, I believe there's a 1 in 6 chance of opening one in the pack. Man,
Okay.
ad on my screen.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. Okay, so let's go back to regular draft booster boxes
And set
and
booster boxes.
set booster boxes. There we go. In the packs within draft booster boxes and set booster boxes, you can't open one of these cards.
Correct.
But there will be one box topper set in each box.
There will be 1 box topper in each draft and booster box.
Okay. So if you're pre-ordering or doing whatever, you should have one of these in your box.
Correct.
If
And
you're ordering one of
hopefully
the two
it's
of
not
those.
bent in half like they have been.
Right. We did have some issues with that. If you don't believe us, you can go back and see them. I don't even remember what set it was. I think it was Ikoria.
Yeah,
They
it was
were
Ikoria.
horrible. It was ridiculous. Okay. So I wanted to clarify that now because then there's a difference between that and the collector's booster box
And pack.
and pack. Right.
Yep. So in the collector's pack, I believe there's a 1 in 6 chance of opening an expedition. And I don't remember if they said that was, well, the whole collector pack is foil, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be foil. And then the
Yep.
box topper has 2 expeditions for that box,
And they're foil.
and they're foil.
Okay.
So you can only get foils in the collector boxes.
Okay. Right. And so yeah, Haywire because you can't draft it. Correct.
No, because it's not in the pack.
That's what I was asking.
Unless
It
you're doing
won't be in the
a whale
box.
draft and you're doing collector booster drafts, and it's in your
Or-
collector booster pack.
or you would just be doing regular drafts. Oh, I see what you're saying. If you're using collector's boosters,
Yeah, for
to
your
draft.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, there is a lot of them.
Yeah, so they said there's 30, and you can see on the bottom of the card there's 30. And I believe that we only have 21 so far, and I think they said they were posting the rest tomorrow. So we do
Okay.
have all of the fetch lands, and we've got the
Both sets then, huh?
Yeah. We've got, I don't even remember at this point
You have the fast
those are
lands.
Scars fast lands,
Yes. Yep.
and then
Raise the
there's
Verge Thicket, Copperline Gorge.
the commander lands.
Yep. Luxury Suite.
Yep.
I don't even know what else.
Ancient
So-
Tomb again.
Wasteland.
Again.
Uh,
Cavern of Souls again.
Again, that was reprinted.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think.
And then Prismatic Vista's a new one, right?
So yeah, I think so. Prismatic Vista is. This would be the first alternate printed to Prismatic Vista that I'm going to point out. Literally, just got printed in a set specifically geared toward a format.
Was it
right?
Modern Horizons?
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this framework either.
I'm not a fan. So like, they made them non-foil in the
Yeah.
regular boosters, so it's just like nobody's gonna want regular boosters, right? like you buy a collector booster for, let's say they're 220 or 240 or something at your local store, and you're getting 2 of these. So like what's the average price on a expedition fetch land?
Ridiculous $300.
Yeah. Well, I guess for the blue ones, that's probably true. It's probably less for the non-blue ones, but like 2 foil expeditions is, let's say, an average value of $150, right? So you're paying what, 70 bucks, 80 bucks for the 12 packs, which you probably got 2 more in it.
All right, we're gonna go. What's a just a low end? I guess Wooded Foothills.
Yeah, that's probably, well, it's probably not the lowest, but
No, but 100 and just going off mid price, $136
yeah. So
on
like
TCG.
it just seems like a no-brainer that collector boosters are just more valuable this time around.
Yeah. Well, no, and I guess there is things to be said, right, about people who do not want to play with foils.
Sure. But
You
like
couldn't get the original expeditions in foil.
in non-foil.
Or that's what I mean. Excuse me. Yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't get the original expeditions in non-foil.
Yeah, but non-foil ones are just like, why did you
Man.
bother making them? Like
Yeah, I would.
they're not a premium card anymore.
Yeah, they have the alternate art, the alternate border, and then that's like it. I think I would just rather have the OG at that point.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Um,
I just like my biggest gripe is that they make us, well, the distributors, it's not WotC. Distributors
right.
did pre-books like a month and a half ago or something when we don't even know what the products are. And then we find out there's set boosters instead of draft boosters, so we have to make adjustments. And now we find out that there's expeditions in the collectors.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I understand that they don't want to give us the information up front, but like we don't know what products to order. We're just like winging it basically. And like
So
no
I
one's going to
guess
want draft boosters at this point.
I guess the thing that comes to is that it's a all right. You and I, like, so we had draft boosters prior to this. I'm gonna go back just a little bit. They announced the what's the other one? Not
Set
draft
boosters?
booster, set boosters. They announced set boosters. We always end up, you and I specifically, always end up with a metric ton of extra commons and uncommons.
Yeah, we usually end up with 3 full play sets of uncommons.
Yeah, and that's harder to do because we end up with 4 or 4.5, close to 5 full play sets of commons.
So if our
So
LGS posted a price on collectors, can they ask more? Yeah, there's no MSRP, and even if there
correct.
was, they don't force stores to sell at MSRP. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's something to be said. But so like you and I, Matt and I both made the decision with the announcement that changes and things are made to not do draft boosters this time around and to do set booster boxes. Okay. So now that being said, now with the
Now I kind
standard
of want
price,
collector boosters and then just buy a play set of commons and uncommons.
yeah, like
Like that'll cost you what, 60 bucks or something? Maybe even cheaper because there's going to be so many people opening them.
yeah, I don't
So,
I don't actually know. It's so horrible because no idea what was in that. And like I had to make the decision, right? We had to make the decision fairly early on to whether or not you ordered
the set
set
booster
boosters or
will
draft
not
boosters.
be able to pull foil expeditions. They will have regular ones as box toppers only.
They will have one
Yeah. So the
per
set booster
box.
itself can't pull one of these, but the box topper will be one.
A collector's booster, on the other hand,
Yes.
will have two and
And
the
have a 1 in
ability,
6 chance of opening them.
which is
So you'll probably get 4
and
of them
there's
in a
correct because
collector
there's
box.
we're gonna say there's 12 packs per collector booster per collector booster box. So with a 1 in 6 chance, your odds are that you're going to open two plus get two as box toppers.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, the only way to get them is in collector's boosters or as box toppers in either the collector's booster or a draft booster box or a set booster box.
Yep. And those are non-foil.
And those two are non-foil, correct? Yeah,
But I like
so
that better
very
than a lottery because you could open 6 boxes and not get one, whereas here you're at least getting 6.
yeah.
So I think that's better. I don't like the lottery aspect of it.
I did open a case. I did open 2 cases actually when we had were the other ones, the special ones from Mom and Cat or whatever.
The invocations,
Yeah, and whatever else it was.
the
And
inventions.
yeah, out of the cases that I opened, I did not open one of them.
Yeah. And that's
But
just
I managed to get
super
one in a
feels
random
bad.
pack. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Uh Emblem says should have done like a lottery in the draft booster. So if you do a lottery in the draft boosters, though, then you're right back to where they were before, right? When you had invocations and
Yeah. And
inventions,
that's just
and they
when
were
you
like, yo, we
have
messed up.
such
It's
low
too much
odds.
stuff.
Yeah.
People were so pissed off because
I
like
think the
I'm
reason they
not
did
getting
it this way
anything.
was to bring the price of them down. So there's
And
more in
I
circulation.
could see here's something that's definitely these will be attainable in non-foil for people who want them. Right? So if you're looking for if you're looking to pick up a Cavern of Souls, okay? Cavern of Souls is currently like $100 in its original printing. This in a non-foil is probably going to be right around that same spot.
It'll probably be cheaper.
And it'll probably be cheaper, right?
Yeah, they were saying something
so
on stream about how there was more fetch lands in this print run than they had previously or something. I don't. Then they did total print run for the expeditions prior.
Okay. Yeah. So they'll be attainable in a non-foil version like this for people to actually be able to play. But you take away in this style from the wow factor, right? So my expeditions, when somebody sees the original expeditions, they're only printed in foil. You can only get them out of these sets. You can only do, yada yada yada. These are literally just going to be like, yo, everybody go wild, Khans of Tarkir style.
Yeah, I mean you get one in every box. I've definitely seen Khans boxes that didn't have fetches in them. So
yeah,
or sorry, one in every. Yeah, one in every box. I said it right.
Yeah, you get one of these in every box. And there has definitely been Khans boxes that did not have a fetch. Or
And I
back in the
suppose
day when the fetch was $10.
Suppose the nice thing for stores that because they're in the box as a topper, when the store opens the box for loose packs, the store is obviously keeping the box topper.
Yeah.
Whereas it was randomly inserted into one in 756 packs prior.
Sure. And that also allows. So I think the interesting things for this is so you had that box topper, right? And the store has that. Not saying that they will, but if things change, that could allow the store to give out like a box topper as an additional prize pack.
Well, so like I said, since they're making the set booster boxes, they should have made draft booster boxes 24 packs. And they get that really nice, sleek packaging that they had for the mystery boxes. Yep. And then the topper would just be the draft winnings, right?
Yeah.
But no, they kept them as 36 packs because everyone does 5-3-2-2, right?
Sure, yeah. Well, so I guess that gets at expeditions. I need to go down and see the showcases.
Oh, yeah.
And see what's actually okay. So the Omnath, not gonna lie, like that's pretty cool. One arm, each color. Can't pick up the fifth can't pick up the fifth color of mana though, right? So they got 4 arms.
He's got legs.
Or does that last green arm turn black?
Yeah, I'd say the green arm turns black in the next iteration of Omnath. And then
we'll
have to check it because we'll have to make sure the same arms are the same colors.
Yeah, the same colors. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the Jace is a little demonic.
Yep. He does look a little evil there.
Yeah. I don't know, just kind of going through. I don't know how I feel about the Planeswalker like borders.
Yeah, I mean maybe in person they look cooler.
Yeah, and that's probably the case.
The only one I really like is the Lotus Cobra because it's
the Lotus
flashy and colorful.
Yeah, that Lotus Cobra is pretty cool, and I can imagine that Lotus Cobra in foil would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I do think now the ruin crab is pretty sweet. I dig that. And lands at the bottom. I just scrolled right to the bottom.
Oh,
Like
the
the
two
river
that
glide
we've got
pathway and the
spoiled.
branch
Yeah.
lock path. Yeah, those are pretty cool. I like those lands. I like the art on those.
Yeah. Those are the ones I would probably pick up. Is the full art versions of those.
Of those ones,
Yeah.
I could see that. That'd be pretty cool.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end my YouTube video here. So if you've watched it this entire time, thanks for watching the whole thing, and we'll see you Fridays on Twitch at 7 p.m. for Standard. Thanks for watching.